Welcome to part 2 of our Redstone Power series. In our previous episode, we established the foundation by exploring the basics and revealing the most common sources of power, providing a solid starting point for our exploration. If you missed it, make sure to catch up. The link is in the description below. In this episode, we'll explore Redstone sensors and learn some practical applications and creative ways to integrate them into your projects. From pressure plates that react to your every step to tripwires that guard secret passages, the possibilities are as vast as your imagination. Target blocks emit redstone signal when hit by projectiles such as arrows, eggs, snowballs, trident, and throwable potions. The redstone signal strength depends on how close the projectile hit the center of the target block. This can be used for mini-games and practice target shooting in the game. Another unique feature of this block is its ability to redirect adjacent redstone dust to itself. We have already discussed pressure plates in the first episode. These are the simplest detectors for mobs and players. But if you like a more covert method for detecting mobs or players, use tripwire hooks and strings. These particular redstone components operate in pairs, requiring the placement of 2 tripwire hooks at a minimum distance of 1 block apart. Place tripwire hooks against a solid block, then connect them by placing down strings. Because strings are thin and nearly imperceptible, most unsuspecting players can fall victim when used in traps. Both tripwire hooks will output redstone signal, which can then be connected to other components like a dispenser with arrows. Daylight sensors detect level of skylight when allowed sky access and outputs redstone signal accordingly. Here's a diagram showing different levels of redstone signal at different times of the day. Daylight sensors can be inverted by right-clicking to instead output signal, depending on how dark the sky becomes from sunset to sunrise. Daylight sensors can be used for a multitude of applications. My personal favorite is my iron farm. I also have a beacon beam that automatically changes color when it's time to go to bed. Please note that torches, lanterns, and other block sources of light do not influence the mechanism of daylight sensors. Lightning rods serves 2 primary purposes. First, and more importantly, is to divert lighting strikes to itself and protect your builds and animals. Each rod can protect an area of a sphere of 128 block radius. Second, it's a redstone component which outputs a redstone signal when struck by lightning. Lightning rods can be oriented in any direction and does not need to be connected to anything to work its surge protection capabilities. The trapped chest is a chest which looks 99% like a regular chest except for a faint red tint on its latch. It functions like a regular chest in terms of storage and ability to connect and form larger trapped chests, but outputs a redstone signal while open. Trapped chests do not connect with regular chests and were classically used to make large compact storage rooms full of chests next to each other. Detector rails output redstone signal when a minecart passes over, much like how pressure plates work for mobs and players. You can learn about detector rails in our episode about minecarts. Observers are arguably the most versatile detector type of redstone component. It has a face, which is the side for detecting, and an output side on the back. Observers can be oriented in any direction. Simply put, an observer will detect a change in the block directly in front of its face. Changes that can be detected include breaking or placing a block, crop growth, redstone signal changes, opening or closing of doors, trapdoors or fences, fire changes, piston movements, beehive honey filling, and many more block state changes. Basically, if the block in front of it changes properties or state, it outputs a very short pulse. Observers do not detect mob and player actions like passing by in front of it, nor does it detect light changes. Observers detect a smaller subset of block changes in Bedrock edition of the game. Then we have the redstone ore itself. When stepped on or clicked, it emits light and redstone particles. It does not directly produce redstone signal, but this block state change can be detected by observers. There is a subset of redstone sensors that can detect sounds, vibrations, or activities made by players or mobs. These sensors found in the deep, dark, and ancient cities will be discussed in a separate guide. Next episode, we will learn more about the comparator, a smart redstone component which can measure block states and output different signal strengths accordingly. This is XBenSage. Until then, keep your redstone circuits pulsing.